Forget all about the fossilized alien remains found in Mexico, which, to be fair, is probably just some guy named Pablo after a particularly exhausting drinking and peyote session. Anyways, I have got something a lot more unbelievable for you, as news have recently come out that Jimmy Olson of Superman fame, a white, freckled ginger dude, will be played by a white, freckled ginger dude. If any further sign of the apocalypse being impending was ever needed, here we go. Hollywood is casting a white ginger as a white ginger character. Just let that sink in for a second here. Not only will Jimmy Olson apparently not be race swapped, which is a mild absurdity in and of itself, but he'll be played by a ginger. The ginger genocide is most assuredly real in Hollywood, as I do believe this might be one of the first ginger characters to actually be played by someone with the correct hair color, never mind the correct skin color and complexion as well. What on God's good earth is going on? And this comes, of course, hot on the heels of this as well. This wonderful little US Army recruitment ad, which a lot of people noticed was weirdly non-diverse. The US Army had focused a lot on diversity recently, even asking for, what is it, $115 million diversity budget? Because it is damned expensive to be diverse. I mean, hey, considering the hit to efficiency, it probably is. As, amongst others, my good friend Carl Benjamin Songavicard, of course, pointing out, where is the diversity? That's a wonderful question, and I do think we have the answer as, well, yeah, it's the Marvels. Okay, so, I've been saying for a while now that we are over the hump, that we are definitely making a turn back into normality, and I absolutely thoroughly believe that. I think all of the evidence speaks to it, and things like this just hammers it home, doesn't it? The Marvels is probably the biggest flop in Marvel cinematic history, with the possible exception of Morbius, but let's be fair here, that's not quite the same league, isn't it? As the Marvels was intended to be the strongest Avenger, which, as it turns out, nobody actually cared. Because if you make the strongest Avenger just boring, angry, and, well, this, it doesn't really matter. It really actually doesn't matter. A 79% drop in box office in the second weekend. And that is after, I believe, the weakest Marvel launch weekend ever. This thing is set to bury Marvel at least $100 million in the hole. Probably more, adding in things like marketing expenses. And Disney knew, and Marvel knew as well, that this was going to go badly, as apparently the director, Nia DaCosta, missed the Marvel screening, allegedly was not invited. Now, I would suggest a pinch of salt with that, just to make that clear, as for some reason, it strikes me as a little bit weird if the diversity-obsessed dudes over at Marvel and Disney somehow forgot to invite their specifically hired diversity person. Seems unlikely. It might be that she simply chose to not go for whatever reason, or it might be that they literally understood that any further association with the woman who... Oh, what was it? What was her brilliant defense again of the movie? Ah, yes, that's right. The fans are sexist, homophobic, racist, aggressive, antagonistic, the usual. You know, we're heading back to 2016 excuses now, because that's all we apparently got left. No attempt to argue for the quality of the movie or anything, just attacking the audience. A tactic that has proven less than effective on multiple occasions now. Of course, there is still going to be some nonsense, as the Silver Surfer is rumoured to be race and gender swapped, though I will say Jimmy Olson also had these rumours around him, and he apparently has turned around quite nicely. It might very well be that this was the original planning that has now leaked out, and later on it will be revealed that no, we're not actually going to do that, because we have slowly but surely begun to learn our lessons in Hollywood. It's taken a solid 10 years, but still. And I will point out too, there have been efforts to defend the Marvels. There has been ferocious efforts to defend the Marvels. One of the most amusing one was, let's see here now. What was it? Yes. And yet it did set one record, the highest opening for a black female director ever. Yes. When we have to get down and granular, it's like, okay, shit. Well, it was a bomb, but okay, what about the director? Did they do anything before? Nah, not really. What about a black director? No, we've got better success for that. Okay, what with a black female director? There you go. They haven't been trusted with a enormous success, well, should be automatic success film like this, and hasn't had the box office. Well, there you go. It's a black woman who directed it, therefore it deserves to succeed, does it? No, because in a non-racist world, that doesn't actually matter. And some of the defense gets rather retarded as well. What was it here? I think being a black woman is one of the main reasons where she's being held to some absurd standard that her colleagues are not. The absurd standard of turning a slam dunk superhero movie with supposedly 3 popular characters into a financial success. I know, absurd standards, absolutely. Listen. Michael Bay managed to make visual effects that go kapui into financial success. He managed to turn Transformers, despite them being absolutely gargantuanly awful movies, into a financial success. It is not an unreasonable standard to assume that a woman who is given Marvel, one of the biggest entities on the planet, with a long history of smashing cinematic successes, for her to turn a profit. That is not unreasonable. To expect her to not lose the company $100 million plus is not unreasonable, regardless of her skin color. We would expect a white director to turn a profit, or an Asian one, or anyone, or any combination of genders or racial skin colors, because, well, that is kind of the job of the person making the goddamn movie, isn't it? Or at least, it should be. Oh boy, though. I gotta give it to you. I don't think you could get much more perfect casting than this. I genuinely don't think you possibly could. And, okay. The Superman legacy thing, right? I'm very skeptical towards the Superman movie things, because it sounds like yet another origin story. And frankly, I know where Superman came from. I have that knowledge. I don't need to be taught again. We've gone over it a couple times before. We don't need it. And the fact that they're also dumping Henry Cavill pisses me off tremendously, because he actually did a pretty good Superman, and getting to see him do actual Superman, not grimdark, brooding Superman, not butthurt Superman, no, oh god, everything has to be dark now Superman, but actually just the hero Superman, was a fantastic opportunity to score a tremendous amount of points with the fans. You know, the people that the DCU really desperately needs to win back over after having treated them as dispensable cocksockets for so very long. You know, those people, but hey, at least one correct casting choice is a beginning, and it is certainly going to be a rather controversial one. I mean, the moment I was sent this, I was like, well, we're gonna have to talk about this, because this is actually rather unusual. That's also where we are in the modern world. A character having the same appearance as the character that they're supposed to portray is just, wow, are you serious? What else are crazy shit are you gonna do? What other marvelous innovations will this movie introduce to us all? What fresh thinking will be on the menu next? See, on the other hand of the coin here, right, okay? The first studio, and I hope it's DC, I really do, Marvel has had its time for DC to shine. The first studio who realizes that it is no longer profitable to please the woke, but on the other hand, it will be tremendously possible to slap them as violently and repeatedly as possible, will earn bank like no tomorrow. They will have every internet commentator on side like that. If they simply just make something that fits the source material, as demonstrated by One Piece, for example, the Netflix series, will have everyone on side, clamoring for its success. You will have 1,000 people just like me, who walk like me and talk just like me. Ironically, they kind of do. All recommending your stuff, okay? It will be a guaranteed success, even if every single solitary critic demands that you be sent to Alcatraz for it. And again, the first studio that actually realizes this will be the winner of the next massive Cape period of another 5-6 years of incredible profits. And I do hope it'll be the DC. I really do, but we'll see. One side character, excellent casting is hardly a guarantee for success. For all we know, Jimmy Olson could be thrown off a skyscraper so as to humble Superman in the first 5 minutes. He goes splat against the pavement and Superman stares out and goes, "Darn it, I could have saved him if only I was faster." And then he broods and stays depressed about that for about 2 hours, 30 minutes, until somebody tells him to get his fucking act together, and then he'll go save the world again. Or if you want to be extra edgy, the world just explodes and he needs to, fly really fast around it to reset everything, and Jimmy Olsen's alive again. I wish I was kidding when I said that was a possibility, but it actually is. Until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.